Cobblemon has come a long way in the last 2 years. Yup, it's been 2 years since I made a guide video on Cobblemon, and it's going to be much better.
A better one. A better one.
And of course, when you first spawn into the world, the very first thing you need to do is choose your starter Pokemon. So for me, I just press G, then it brings up this nice little starter selection screen, which really hasn't changed and still has the same selection of Pokemon it's had for a while. And because one of my favorite Pokemon is Turtwig, I'm going to choose a little Turtwig because it's adorable. Aren't you cute? Oh, you're so cute. Now, something I didn't really do in my previous video was go over the general basics of the UI. I think I didn't anyway. I have no idea. We have a impish Turtwig, and it's obviously a grass type. It tells us the dex number, and it also tells us what ability it has. And then over here, we have all the various abilities. We can select between the different abilities, and if we want to swap the abilities, they'll be here later on when we level up our Turtwig. And then here we have all of our special stats, which we can also buff later on if we really want to. And if I just go ahead and give myself a Master Ball here so we can just grab any old Pokemon. Let's just grab this tiny little Zigzagoon. I think it's a Zigzagoon. You would not believe how much I get asked this question. How to swap between Pokemon. You just press your arrow keys. That's it. Just press the arrow keys, then you can throw the Pokemon out, and I have it set to my mouse buttons because it's much quicker and it's much easier. And something else that has changed is we now actually have cool particle effects when we throw our Pokemon. It's just a nice little detail. I love all these little extra details and touches that the Cobblemon developers are adding into this world. Oh, look at that. It's so much fun. And of course, because it's still Minecraft, you still have to do your traditional Minecraft things because Cobblemon does something very, very well. It's a very inclusive mod which utilizes regular vanilla materials in order to craft certain items. Dude, you have an ice cream stuck in your head. Are you okay? Are you good? You're so weird looking. Look at you, just such a weird little blob of sand. Like, how do you function? What makes you function? And welcome to my world of I'm going to teach you all the basics of Cobblemon. And if you leave this video and you still have no idea what you're doing, well, then you're just a lost cause. I am sorry, but I can't help you any further. In here, we have some very special items. Because of course, if you're going to start playing Cobblemon, you're going to need Pokeballs, you're going to need Great Balls, you're going to need Ultra Balls. And also, I highly recommend you use Quick Balls. These are my personal favorite Pokeballs in Cobblemon or in all of Pokemon because they're just so unbelievably useful. A 5 times catch rate on the first turn of battle. That's just really good. That's just genuinely great. And they only require 1 gold ingot and then some blue and yellow apricorns. So make yourself a lovely gold farm and you're set for life. And of course, one of the other first materials you're going to need to start collecting are all of your glorious apricorns so you can start making your beautiful Pokeballs. If I just pop myself into survival mode, we can go ahead and harvest a few of these. And let's see. Oh, I got pretty lucky, actually. You get a nice little apricorn sprout, which is going to be very, very useful. So we have 2 options here. We can replant this sprout and grow ourselves another tree, or we can just simply place the sprout against the tree. You can just keep harvesting these, get as many apricorn sprouts as you need, and then you can do a little system like this. Now, obviously, this is no fancy redstone. It's just to demonstrate what you can do. You can automate this. Boom. Pair of shears, automated. Get another dispenser, the dispenser's bone meal. You just have a fully automated system that allows you to get as many apricorns in the world as you will ever need. So that's pretty much what you should do when you first get into this world is collect your general Minecraft things, get your diamond armor and tools, and then start getting as many apricorns as you can and collect all the different types. You could probably just skip the earlier versions of the Pokeballs and just go straight to a gold farm and start getting Ultra and Quick Balls like pretty much straight away. Just ignore everything else. Now, you may notice some other special items inside this chest, and one of those is a Pokédex. So say now you want to discover a brand new Pokemon. You just simply hold down, right-click on your mouse, and then it will begin to scan the Pokemon, and now we can see it's a Rapidash and level 41. Because previously, you used to just have to shift to see the information. Like, if I go over to this dub wall over here, I've not discovered this Pokemon, and you can see it's got 3 question marks above its head in its name tag, and then as soon as I scan this Pokemon, it's going to update that information, and now when I shift, I can see it's a dub wall and it's level 28. Oh, and then also, you can see here, we have already collected some Pokemon in this world, because I've been messing around, and then once you open up your Pokédex, you have your national, Rideable, which is something we'll get into later, Paldea, Hisui, Galar, Unknown. You get the point. You got all the different regions. And if I go ahead and select this Charmeleon, you can see we got a lovely little animation. We can play the Pokemon cry. And then we can set the Charmeleon to different animation states in the Pokédex.
That's not how you pronounce that.
It's so cute, and you can even move it around. And then, of course, you've got all the descriptive stuff. And this here is super handy. It will tell us specifically what the Charmeleon will drop.
No.
Because, yes, you can kill Pokemon in this world. Oh, that was really sad, but you get the point. I got leather from a Rapidash. We're just going to forget that happened. Anyway, moving on. And these are some other items you will most definitely need in your world. Firstly, you're going to need a PC. Like, you're definitely going to need one of these. You're definitely going to need a healing machine and a pasture block if you want to have some Pokemon roam your world. I also never went over this block last time. This is a display case, and you can put quite literally anything in it. So if you want some tall grass in here, you can put some tall grass in there. Look at that. It's beautiful. Or if you want to put some Pokeballs in here, you can do that. And of course, to operate your PC, you just click it, and then you can see we have a Pokemon box for all our Pokemon. And I've also got some other additional mods that I will go over later on. And if we say want to grab a Squirtle, we just pick it up, place it into our party, and now we have a Squirtle in our party. Look at that. Adorable little Squirtle. You are so cute. And then we've also got the healing machine, which you use to heal your Pokemon. So if I just jump into a Pokemon battle, let's fight this Pidgey with my level 1 Squirtle. Oh dear, this might be bad. Let's do a bubble. Yeah, bye Squirtle. Oh, poor Squirtle. Okay, it's fine. It's fine. I needed it to die anyway, so I can demonstrate this. Damn it, I can't demonstrate it. It's not charged enough. Okay, you have to leave it charged for a while, but we can heal our Pokemon eventually. And this here is the pasture block, and it basically opens up like our PC, but if we grab a little Pikachu here, you can hear it has thrown the Pikachu out into the world, and now this Pikachu is just going to roam around. If you want to swap them out, you just bring them back, and you can just, you know, throw out pretty much anything you want. And you can see we got all of our lovely Pokemon roaming the world here. And something else that's really cool about pasture blocks is you can use multiple of them. So if I have 2 pasture blocks here, I can use this one, throw out this Aerodactyl, and then I can use this one and throw out a Gengar, and you can see they are completely separate. So they act as like separate entities, which I just think is really, really cool. And it means you can do some really cool creative stuff with this. Is my PC ready? Yay, look at that. That's really cool. That is pretty cool. However, there is one modded item that I want to show you that is very, very good. And that is the red smartphone. This is such a cool item. So here we press this item and it heals our Pokemon. We can also access our computer from this, and we can do this anywhere in the world. So even if we're in the Nether or the End, we can just open this bad boy up wherever we please. And it also acts like a portable ender chest. I highly recommend that you add this mod. It's so good. It's so powerful. Honestly, such a useful item. Now, these next 2 items here are also modded items and are incredibly useful. Now, I have talked about the Pokepedia before, so I'm only going to go over it briefly. This is pretty much if you're very new to Cobblemon and you don't really know what you're doing. This just tells you everything you need to know. So it tells you how to get started, it tells you about all the different Pokeballs, and it tells you about the evolution items and even what each evolution item does and what it evolves. So I now know that if I find one of these dragon scales, I can evolve a Seadra into a Kingdra. You can craft this book with just a book and an apricot seed if you ever happen to lose it, but as you saw in the start of the video, when you first select your starter Pokemon, you get given one of these books automatically. So this is the PokeNav. So with the PokeNav mod, you're also going to need a Poke Finder, as they're 2 devices that basically work as one. So the PokeNav tells you what category the Pokemon falls under. So you got common, uncommon, rare, and ultra rare. And it will also tell you the chances of these Pokemon spawning. So for example, a Typhlosion has a 0.71% chance of spawning, whereas a common Pokemon like a Buffalon has a 7.25% chance of spawning. And if we go ahead and click this, we can also click this little button here, which will add it to the Poke Finder, and it tells us that it's a Buffalon level 30. Then we hit let's track it down, and now we are tracking our Pokemon. Look at that. We've got a nice little compass right on our screen that guides us directly to the Buffalont. So you see how we have a Mareep here? I can just simply type in Mareep into the species, and then it will actually begin to track on the Poke Finder. So you can see the nice little dot that is tracking it for us. However, if we want a direct guide to it, we just simply highlight the Mareep inside here, which is right here. We hit let's track it down, and then it will guide us directly to another Mareep, which is over there somewhere. You can see the tail right there. For some reason, it's guiding us to the one that's further away than the one that's closer. You can also select its aspects and its labels, and you can also strip the aspect check and the label check, or you can just go on a shiny hunt. So if you want to specifically hunt for a shiny, you can do that. Dude, that is absolutely awesome. A white Eevee, so cool. But did you hear that new sound? There are brand new sound effects for shiny Pokemon. It's so mystical and magical. And then the further away you get from the Pokemon, you no longer hear it. But then as you get closer, you begin to hear it and it makes that sound effect again. It's basically to just notify you of where the Pokemon is. Now, something Cobblemon have implemented and have done this beautifully is a brand new evolve animation. Previously, they would just instantly evolve. It would make a quick little sound, but now we get a full-blown animation and it looks sick. Dude, that is so freaking cool. Oh, look at that. That is so cool. And now we have ourselves a Blastoise. And do you know what? Blastoise is sick. And as I mentioned earlier, I also have an additional mod for the PC. And it just adds some really simple UI tweaks. So for example, if I want to search for a specific Pokemon, I can do that now. If I want to look for my Blastoise, I just type in Blast. Boom, there's my Blastoise, got my Blastoise. If I want to look for a Pikachu, boom, got a Pikachu. Job done. I really do hope that this just eventually becomes a feature in Cobblemon, because when you have a full box, so say now you've got like 12, 13 boxes full of Pokemon and you're trying to find that one specific Pokemon, it can get a little frustrating when you're just doing this and you're just searching and searching till you go, oh, there's my Executor. And we also have a rename box. So if I want to change this from box 2 to bottom, I can do that. This is my bottom box. If I want to change this to my poop box, I can also do that. And finally, you can also change the color of your box. So you've got yellow, black, green, white, dark blue, default color, purple, and red. So it allows you to do some proper organization of your PC box. I also forgot to mention earlier with the moves, if you use these arrows on the side here, you can just move the moves around. So if you want to have it in a specific order, not that it makes much difference, you can do that. And then obviously, like I showed earlier, you can just go here and you can select whatever moves you want by just simply swapping them around. Super easy. And another UI tweak mod that I have installed actually helps with Pokemon battles. So typically, I don't remember what every single move does. However, this mod, what it allows you to do is it gives you a description of how much base power the move has, the accuracy, and what it actually does. Because if I don't know what it does, then I might end up using the wrong move. So for example, I can see that all of these are a neutral effectiveness against this Bouffalont. Also, another fun thing you can do with this is you can move this box around. You can pretty much put it wherever you want. So if you want it up here, you can do that. You can just do Hydro Pump. Boom. That was a critical hit. That hurt. But there you go. You kind of get the point. It just gives you that little bit of extra customization and allows you to just understand what you're doing a little bit more if you're like me and you don't know absolutely everything about Pokemon that you could possibly know. And Blastoise is victorious. Well, I definitely think Blastoise, for earning that victory, has earned a subscription. So you subscribe for Blastoise because Blastoise looks absolutely awesome. See, even Blastoise thinks you should subscribe. And just a little detail for you, I'm not going to go through all of them because we will literally be here all day, but they have updated some models. So if I go ahead and level up our Charmeleon here.
That's not how you pronounce that.
Charmeleon.
No. Deja vu.
And evolve it into a Charizard. Dude, I can't get over how cool this animation is. Oh, that's so cool. That's so much fun. That's pretty sick. It's yawning. Am I boring you with my video, dude? I love the update to this model, and I'll also show you what the old model looked like so you can actually see. Oh, dude, look at that. Just look at this. This is so cool. Charizard's like scratching his little face and yawning and just got some really cool idle animation. It's so cool. Now I've gone ahead and grabbed myself a Machamp because there is a brand new move animation that was added in the latest update for specifically Seismic Toss. Because check this out. That is so freaking cool. Oh my god. You just absolutely destroyed that Pokemon. You are one buff Pokemon. My god. Has to be one of the most fun animations they've implemented. Like, look at that. It's actually crazy. Bye, Wooloo. I hope you have a nice life. Just absolutely destroyed. Now, before we get into the potions, I just want to briefly go over the fossils. So to create this restoration system, you're going to need a restoration tank, a fossil analyzer, and a data monitor. And how you use this is actually really, really simple. So if we just take this brush and this max revive here and an old amber, we'll use this just in case we don't get anything. We need to find some fossils to put into our fossil analyzer to actually grow our very own Pokemon. However, to do that, you first need to find yourself a fossil, and I'm not going to find anything here, am I? Because I just placed it. Yep, that's how it works. But anyway, you basically look for suspicious sand, you dig up the suspicious sand with your brush, and then you happen to get yourself a nice old amber fossil. You put the old amber fossil into here, and then you fill your tank. The tank is now completely full, and now we are going to be growing ourselves a Pokemon. And look, you can see it's already starting to grow, and it is absolutely miniature. It's so cool. And this will get progressively bigger in real time, which is just really, really cool. And these generally take, I think, around 10 minutes to fully cook. So if you find a fossil, don't throw it away thinking it's a useless item, because you can get your very own special Pokemon homegrown. Now we're going to go over the potions, and as you can see, we have the potion, the super potion, hyper potion, max potion, and full restore. Now if you want to actually know how to do all of the potions, then I highly recommend that you go onto the Cobblemon wiki. It tells you literally everything you need to know about how to create these potions. However, I will just briefly show you how to get started. So if you, for example, want to make yourself a regular old potion, you're first going to need to get some water bottles. So we'll just go ahead and get 1, 2, 3. Okay, maybe not. Oh, look at that. We got 3 bottles. Lovely. We pop our bottles into here, and then we grab ourselves a medicinal leek. And then we put the medicinal leek into here. And the medicinal leek we can get from any old waterbed or river, and they are super easy to obtain, because if I go ahead and harvest a few of these, you can see we get a bunch of them in return, and then we just simply replant them onto the water. And it's honestly, they're really, really easy to harvest. You get a lot of them every time, so I wouldn't worry about trying to get too many of these, because you will end up with hundreds of them before you know it. And now you can see it has created some medicinal brew. Then we can take our orange berry, and then we can pop it into here. Boom, we have potions, baby. And pretty much how it works is you select your potion of choice, and then you just select your Pokemon. Now, something else that was also added alongside these potions were revives and max revives. And in order to craft a revive stone, you need a honey bottle and some heal powder. And to get the heal powder, you need to find this revival herb and then pop it into a furnace to smelt it into the heal powder. And you can find the revival herbs in a lush caves. And how is our Aerodactyl doing? Look at that. Oh, that's so sick. I love this. Why did I never cover this in my last video? Hands down, hands on my heart, Cobblemon is the best Pokemon mod that has ever been developed for Minecraft. I am sorry for those Pixelmon fans, but if you want to hate me for it, you can go right ahead, because this is a genuinely awesome mod. I love what they're doing, and they keep making it better. I just realized my Charizard is lonely. That's so sad. Now, if you want to craft a max revive, you're going to need 3 revive stones, so it's pretty expensive, and a Vivichoke. And over here, I've got a nice little plant system going on, and you can see we have a Vivichoke, which you just go ahead and punch, you get yourself a Vivichoke. Pretty nice, and then you can use that to craft yourself max revive. And you can find Vivichoke seeds in villages, houses and in all kinds of places. They are honestly absolutely everywhere, so I wouldn't worry about not being able to find any. And then, of course, you got the different mints. You wait for it to grow. You give it a nice little punch. You get a mint leaf in return, and you always get at least one mint seed, so you can keep replanting and keep regrowing. And then with the berries, you don't actually have to punch these. You just simply right-click them, and you can just select the berries that you need, and you just get them over and over again. And they also work like any other plant in Minecraft, where you can bone meal them, so you can get a ton of this stuff super easily. And similarly to the Pokeballs, this is where I'd say skip the orange berries and go straight to citrus berries. If you make a regular potion, you can't upgrade that into a hyper potion. You just simply put a citrus berry in, and then you get a hyper potion straight away, and then you can upgrade that hyper potion into the max potion and the full restore. So once again, you're kind of skipping the lower tier steps, and you're just getting yourself a much better potion right out of the gate. Bada bing, bada boom. We have some hyper potions. Look at that. And they also stack. Yes, they stack. Oh my god, it's done. That was perfect timing. Now, this is something I really like about this system, is you can use any Pokeball you want to select your Pokemon. So if I want to get this Aerodactyl with an Ultra Ball, boom. I now have myself a level 1 Aerodactyl. Look at that. That is sick. And check this out. I can ride my Aerodactyl, and my Aerodactyl flies. Yeah, I've got another mod installed. It's like called Rideable Pokemon or something, and you can fly around on Pokemon, and you will know if it's a rideable Pokemon because you have this little symbol here, or inside the Pokedex, like we saw earlier, we have a rideable tab. And then we just press shift and press the button that we use to throw out our Pokemon to get off the Pokemon, and then we can put the Pokemon away. Really cool mod. Highly suggest you check it out. Oh, I also recommend that you just get yourself a backpack mod. You can use any backpack mod that you want, but you're gonna have a lot more items than usual because, well, Cobblemon adds a lot of brand new stuff into it, so you're really going to need a backpack. Oh, and I highly recommend that you install something like Terralith, because then you will get a lot more spawning options for your Pokemon in your world. It just adds a ton more biomes, and it means that you can get Pokemon significantly easier than you normally would. And the final thing we're going to be going over today is fishing. Yep, Cobblemon added fishing. So to get yourself a Poke Rod, you're going to need a fishing rod, the smithing template Poke Rod upgrade, which you can find in your usual place for smithing templates, and a Pokeball. Then we simply pop them into a smithing table, and you can see we get ourselves a Poke Rod with a Great Ball attached. And you can also enchant this Poke Rod like you can a regular fishing rod. And these are also the items that you can find while you are fishing with your Poke Rod. You can find a Chesto Berry, a Deep Sea Scale, a Deep Sea Tooth, a Dragon Scale, a King's Rock, and a Prism Scale. And this is where another utilization comes in for the berries. So we can grab any old berry here, and it will actually tell us below, if we hold shift, what these do as fishing bait. So all we need to do to add the bait is just hover over our fishing rod and click it onto there, and now we have added a Rabuta berry. Now, something else you may notice is you can actually stack these, so you can add a whole stack of Rabuta berries onto your fishing rod, which is pretty cool. And then we just take our fishing rod, throw it out into the ocean, and as per usual, you wait until you attract some bait. Oh, here we go. Yeah, look at that. And we found ourselves a tentacle. This is a bad situation to be in. I don't want my poor Aerodactyl to die. Oh. Sorry, Aerodactyl. Oh, and you can craft a Poke Rod for every type of Pokeball there is in Cobblemon. If we don't get something epic here, I'm going to be so unbelievably sad, because Master Balls are really expensive. Oh, here we go. Boom. Dude, the Finion. Is that it? Anyway, that's the most hideous thing I've ever seen in my life. Oh, and the last thing I'm going to show you today is a brand new structure. It's 10,000 blocks away. Might take a minute to teleport to, but we can go. Oh, that was actually really quick. There's a brand new structure known as the Shipwreck Cove. So this is actually a little bit inspired by the trial chambers. As you can see, we've got the trial chamber spawners, so it's actually a pretty deadly place to come into. However, you can get onto this ship and you can find all kinds of goodies. Like, look at this. So many Cobblemon goodies. And look, even the brand new smithing template Pokérod upgrade. Pretty dark here, it's pretty spooky, it's going to be a fun challenge, but you can find some absolutely awesome stuff here. However, these structures are somewhat rare, so if you do come across one, definitely 100% give it a go, because you are just going to have a fun time, and it's a pretty cool structure. Anyway, that's pretty much it for this video, and if I've missed anything, then please let me know in the comments. That'd be greatly appreciated, because I probably won't do another video like this for quite some time. Anyway, I'm gonna fly off into the sunset with my Aerodactyl. I'm gonna fly incredibly slowly with my Aerodactyl. This is really not as dramatic as I was hoping.